This time last year, we were standing here still having the conversation about decoupling of the developing world from the developed world, and that some would continue to power ahead without major disruption from the downturn, particularly we've seen here in the Eurozone and also the United States. As we stand here in 2013, we know that's been an incredible challenge. Some have managed that challenge much better than others. I'd like to frame this debate for the hour in the context of the frontier markets, the emerging markets, and the emerged markets, if we can put it that way. They all three hold different challenges of risk, high reward, and that challenge when you get to the emerged stage of being a developed economy or near-developed economy, and the challenges that poses to try to sustain long-term growth. There's a very widely held belief that the developing markets of the world can't sustain growth for a 20-year period. I'm kind of in the camp that they can because they've learned how to manage their monetary policy. As I noted here in my opening remarks to you, we have a phenomenal panel of guests today, 3 central bank governors, a finance minister, and 2 leading CEOs from around the world that have staked the fortunes of their companies in large part on the emerging markets, with Mukhtar Kent, the Chief Executive Officer of Coca-Cola, and Carlo Ghosn, the Chief Executive Officer of Renault-Nissan. To start off our debate here, let's take a look at our first report, looking at the year that was from Davos 2012 to Davos 2013 and the implications it's had for the emerging markets.
For a decade, the BRIC nations dominated the emerging markets narrative. They were the world's new economic juggernaut. Turbocharged engines of global growth, propelled by the kind of annual output developed economies could but stand back and admire. Brazil, Russia, India, and China were sitting pretty in the economic fast lane, so the story went. Their rise as inevitable as it was impressive. But first came the global financial crisis, then its aftermath. And a new narrative has emerged for this new post-crisis world, one more nuanced than we've experienced for many years. As we head through 2013, emerging markets find themselves at a crossroads. Economic growth amongst the BRIC nations has slowed and might never return to the levels of the last decade, where once we saw the similarities that bound the BRIC nations, now their differences come to the fore. China, in a league of its own, bigger than the other BRICs, still with the strong growth, still on schedule to surpass the U.S. as the world's biggest economy by 2030. While growth in Russia, Brazil, and India stutters. The price paid, some analysts say, for delaying domestic reforms before the world's export markets began to fail. Meanwhile,